Ronove, Ronwe, Ronobe, Ronve, Rovone. And the chant is PZBNVM for the first word. The second word, EVUZ. The third word, or, well, name, capital ILMDV. Husband, Husband, Ilmand, 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 Husband, Avazilmand, Husband, Avazilmand. So, instead of playing musical instrument or a drum, pounding a drum or whatever, the chant said like 27 times or enough to cause a change in feeling. I'm feeling a little buzzy right now, so I guess it's time to start. A Marquise and Earl over 19 legions, appearing as a monster. People call on this being, hoping for knowledge of tongues, favor of friends and foes. Little Doom Witch says you better be clear about what you want when dealing with this entity. Says that it's a familiar that brings instinctual knowledge, subconscious language for the use of talismans and charms, and instinctual knowledge. Michael W. Ford says it can persuade others to your way of thinking or to control others. And you see in pink that second variation of the symbol, more from the Decante version of it. Stephanie Connolly says that it manipulates the language of others and aids in gaining power by them. James Donahue says that it's like a mummy with a grotesque, exposed face. It was said to have appeared once by George Herbert Walker during a dinner when he was president, and then again during the presidency of Clinton, hovering above him, and then again doing the same thing over Obama, watching them, and they were president. That's what James Donahue says. He didn't see the, he does not attest to the first Bush having this demon as its protector or whatever. As a Marquise, agar agar, bamboo, camphor, chickweed, coconut, cucumber, hibiscus, Irish moss, jasmine, oak moss, lunaria, willow, reed, water lily, reed, and poppy. Okay. Are plants that are associated with the working. As an Earl, basil, broom, cascarilla, nettle, mustard, menthol, honeysuckle, holly, ginger, garlic, onion, pepperweed, sarsaparilla, galangal, dragon's blood, wormwood, woodruff, coriander, cranesbill are mentioned with this. VK Jehennem says that Ronove is a day demon. Its numbers are 268 and 272. It can be used to make peace or to cause death and destruction of the target. And Bud Sturgia was called on by the names Stolas and Ronwe by him, and supposedly this, cleared up his issues with that. So the Marquises are called from mid-afternoon to sunrise, for those who want to be Karcist or devotee, I guess. Are those who want to confine themselves to these parameters. And as an Earl, where sound and human presence is not, and the O&A gives mode 4, G major and Dorian as the music of the moon. C major through D major is the traditional. 210.42 hertz is G sharp in the 29th octave. 445.9 hertz over 440 hertz plus 22.9 centimeters, 98.6 beats per minute. And the O and A gives the Martian sound as mode 3, C major, Hypophagorian or Ionian. The traditional would be A through B minor. And the scientific would be 144.72 hertz, or D in the 33rd octave. Sorry. 67.8 over 135.6 beats per minute. 144.72 hertz equals 433.7 hertz over 440 hertz minus 25.1 centimeters. And let me again remind you, or those seeing this sort of show for the first time, that the brass lining, some people like to have an all brass vessel. An old powder puff container, or a new one. I guess you don't have to have brass. Copper, silver, gold, whatever, or something that represents that might fit your fancy with these things. But it's a representation of the vessel of your unconscious. But the brass vessels of Solomon is also what we're thinking about here. And language-wise, we got rag, grieve, bold, evil, dysfunctional, mischief, favored, noise. But people who want to hear its noise full bore are going to want to indulge themselves in having less noise. Aloud, sad, shout, grievous, not, ill, sore, hurt, adversity. Adversity is a good piece of what a demon would be. You know, the Ru is form, appearance, husband. Ra is feed, shepherd, desire, man watched, friend, neighbor, another fellow, companion, other, lover, brother. Let me remind you, the story of Moses in Tanukh has some play on Ra, because Ra, being the Egyptian sun god, you know, there's some play back and forth between Moses and Pharaoh and talking each other in the language they use, or the language that's attributed to them. Nu is dwell or abode. Ni, wail, wailing. Rina is gladness, proclamation, sing, song, shouting, cry, singing, rejoice, joy, triumph. Remember how the symbol looks like a trumpet. Ni is wail or wailing. Okay, rune, murmur, loud rumbling. Run, loud noise. Well, rune, remember the stubbornness that I talked about regarding this entity. Runna, shouting, triumph, singing. Ron, field, flourish, green, fresh, flourishing. Somebody somewhere probably has this entity attributed as a duke because of the green quality of it. Moving from the language that Tanukh was written in to Hebrew, Ranun, fresh, refreshing. Runna, joyful music, songs of joys. Rina, song, gossip. Rune, song, music. Rain, Uwa, cinema. And I'm not seeing any operation that year. So let's turn to 2012. If you have any information or interpretation or experience, don't be shy to comment in. If I'm in the middle of an experience sharing, I may not be able to say much of anything. I was working on some verses to say in the ritual. Returning to the ancient Aramaic, we got Rina, shout, shouting, cry, singing, rejoice, joy, gladness, song, triumph, proclaim, sing. Reen is shout. Rune, murmur, grudge, shouting, song. Ra, feed, shepherd, desire, man watches. Friend, neighbor, another, fellow, companion, other, brother, lover. Runnin, goodly. Field, flourish, flourishing, fresh, green. Remember, people, it's getting time to plant the final crop of the year for a lot of us. New, dwell, abode. The abode of the message for the people, Omniwall. You know, God's place to put something for the message. New, dwell, abode, home, habitation, fold.
mountain pasture, stable, pleasant, tarried. So, looking at the Greek here, we have a, ah, woe, oo, a, oh, ua is for shame. Okay. Aurun, ash or unknown tree, is some ancient Aramaic that we're looking at. U is where, himself, herself. Rinan is skin, hide, leather, shield. Oh yeah, I'm returning to the Greek here. Rina is file. Rion is peak, promontory. Okay, then I'm obviously. Ano is in class, period only. Resistant to exult, rejoice. So returning to the ancient Aramaic, often have things buried into things. You got runnin, cry, shout, shouting. Renna, shouting, triumph, singing. Okay, so I can share some Latin now, uninterrupted. Runa is a kind of dart. And remember how one of the authors attributed that this is a destroying demon. Rana, a frog. Marina, a sea fish. The frogfish. The fishing frog. Angler. Frog entrails. Charms made with frog entrails. A lot of disgusting things to incur the alleged favor of spirits, don't you think? Ronove is to make new again, to restore, renovate, repair. And that is it for 2012. So let me refer to my 2014 and 2013 notes to make sure that there's nothing in particular. Yes, I like to use the different colors when there's multiple attributes and the different versions to show the different ranks involved and the different so the ancient Egyptian, which of course is going to be something that puts my research unique on this, but we have Renew is a harvest or provision, and that would be ha or het. What's that in Coptic? Like, I'm not thinking the Coptic in the moment. Ronube is the golden Ra. Of course, there's got to be another Ra name in this one. Runnut is, that weird object there. The Runnut. Also the snake correlation. You got Runnut. Nefert is a hippopotamus goddess. And I guess that could be the monster form to those unfamiliar with hippopotamuses. And Banu was the thing of the last time. Bama, Banaya, Banub, Banadid, the Remamendes, Soul of Osiris, Banagub, a place of Thoth. Yeah, that was all part of the last one. So you don't have to make this connection, but it's important to make connections in life between things. So the 14th Enochian Aethyr yawned, yawned.
Yawned, 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 yawned. Ooh, you heavens which dwell in the 14th author, author of semblances, opposites, equilibrate time, or who demands obedience, the repeater, whose nature is truth, are mighty in the parts of the earth and execute the judgment of the highest. To you it is said, behold the face of your God, the beginning of comfort, whose eyes are the brightness of the heavens, which provided you for the government of the earth, and her unspeakable varieties, furnishing you with the power of understanding to dispose all things according to the providence of him that sitteth on the holy throne, and rose up in the beginning, saying, the earth, let her be governed by her parts, and let there be division in her, that the glory of Ix may be always drunken and vexed in itself. Her courses let it run with the heavens, and as a handmaid let her serve them. One season let it confound another, and let there be no creature upon or within her the same. All her members let them differ in their qualities, and let there be no creature equal with another. The reasonable creatures of the earthmen, let them vex and weed out one another, and the dwelling places, let them forget their names. The work of man and his pomp, let them be defaced. His buildings, let them become caves for the beast of the field. Confound her understanding with darkness, for why? It repenteth me. I made man, one while let her be known, and another while a stranger, because she is the bed of an harlot, and the dwelling place of him that is fallen. O you heavens, arise! The lower heavens underneath you, let them serve you. Govern those that govern, cast down such as fall. Bring forth with those that let increase and destroy the rotten. No place let it remain in one number. Add and diminish until the stars be numbered. Arise, move, and appear before the covenant of his mouth, which he hath sworn unto us in his justice. Open the mysteries of your creation and make us partakers of undefiled knowledge. Madrex des brav ata kestedand vive paz vanam Mekasanir Kaska Athethis Spouses Ras Eda Nanka Nansa Galim Nikmadoyan Marian Blearm Saba Onakes Lakithitias Peripsal Nesabrasa Nankap Nansif Netaim Kaska Antilm and Pahat Dumplas Toat Nankap Nansif Gimekazama Brasen Tavglomam Yare Edango Ondozulp Eadath Gahal Kasga Tabarond Saner on Christias your poil Talmud Bas dirtum Noam Pedor Spa on Dodrome Dodrome Zlina Alzaptum Parnge Berepsax Ata Kolast Boapis Lenebum of Cosimp on Christias Ogdaltorn Mirk Katemel Liltan Pamben Dilsma Aspean Od Christias Ong the Torn Parak Asyimp Chordses Dod Palantipals Lusmanan on Vargit Banzamas Kanispra Alawax Tanadag Ors Katbal Nawasma Tanges Lewetmong Anke Unki Amtirnd Ors bagle ma al cordses la capemao ixomaxip ad kakasum gasa baglen pea taranta babylon ad fargit telok Vavim Madreax Torzawadreax Oroka Abo Apre Tabaure Preazartabasadrapan Korstadabix Yal Campreaze Arcoazeor On Coasum Catendag Reperpaxet Sagakar Bamalad Pradzar Kakarg Oivea Kormput Toza Zakar Zamran Aspat Sebse Batmana de Surzas Teabaltan Ala Kekleka Ala Zazma Plaple Eadman Contentness. A slight numbness is what I'm feeling. I feel shaky, but no pain. It was like a pink sunset for a moment. I can't remember what was with the sunset. So I'm going to open the floor for questions as I close. And double check that I have covered everything that I am going to cover. Fitharzi Vomsarg. Peace be upon every one of you.